Hey guys, Brad here with another tutorial for you. And in today's tutorial, I wanted to show you how to create a signature to use when you export your images from Lightroom Classic. Now basically all we're going to be doing is creating a new watermark for you to use. And of course you can use either text watermarks, JPEG image watermarks, or PNG file watermarks when exporting from Lightroom. And what we want to work on today is the PNG file for our watermark. And that's because we can use a PNG file and then remove the background. And thus it will leave just the signature when we go to export. So what we want to do first is evaluate the image to determine what color we want our signature to be. So here I have an image of the Ludington Breakwater Lighthouse in Ludington, Michigan on the beautiful shores of Lake Michigan. And I have of course, some dark blue water in the foreground here. And of course, that's where I want my signature, is down here in the lower right-hand corner, as we traditionally do. But with it being so dark, I want to create a white signature. And that's important to remember when you're doing this. What color do you want your signature to be? I almost always go with white, but there are certainly going to be certain situations when you want to have a darker or a black signature. So to do this, we want to actually start in Photoshop to create our PNG file. So let's head over there now. So we'll open up Photoshop there, and we'll go ahead and create a new document. Now the size of the document does not really matter. It's going to default, of course, to an 8.5 by 11, and that's fine. However, what we do want to change is the background color. Right now it's set to white, which is of course the default, but we are making a white signature for this tutorial. So I want to change the background to black. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll click OK. And I did it as a custom color by clicking here. You can also just click here and click black. That would work too, obviously. And then we'll click Create. So here I have my totally black document, and then it's also created a background layer right over here. If you're not familiar with Photoshop, Photoshop works with layers. Layers are a very key component to Photoshop. We're not going to get into them too much in this tutorial because, of course, this is about Lightroom. However, we are going to be working a little bit with layers here, but it's going to be pretty easy to follow. So, of course, all I want to do is just create a signature on this document. But I don't want to do it on the background. I want to create a new layer. So to do that, I go down here to the bottom right-hand corner, and I click this second to last option here. If I hover over it long enough, it will tell me create a new layer. I'll go ahead and click that, and now I have a new layer aptly titled Layer 1. And on that layer, I can go ahead and I can draw my signature. Right now I have my brush open to a size of 70, and then I have my color set to black, which is the default. So if I were to start my signature here, you would not see anything. I'm going to go ahead and click this little double arrow right there to switch the foreground and background color, and now I have white as my paint color. I'll go ahead and I will just draw my signature on this layer. Those of you that know me know that I have a very basic signature, nothing fancy here. Now you can see with this large brush size, it looks kind of bubbly, kind of cartoony. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that looks fairly professional, kind of nice and crisp. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that layer there. I just, of course, clicked on that layer and dragged it down to the little trash can there. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. So there's my new layer. And again, I want to go ahead and draw my signature on that layer. However, this time I'm going to use a smaller brush size. I'm going to take it way down somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. 9 should be okay. And then let's go ahead and draw my signature here. That's looking better already. Okay, there we go. There's my signature. But now what I have is just a bunch of space around it. I'm just going to go ahead and crop some of that out. Just go up to the crop tool there on the left-hand side and just kind of click and drag around it, and then I'll hit the return key. Okay, so now what I want to do, I have my signature, it's the color that I want it, but I want to get rid of this background layer. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click and drag that to the garbage can there, and now I'm left with just my signature, and that's perfect. That's what I want. I want to, right before I save this, be seeing these gray and white boxes with my signature over it. Of course, it's kind of hard to see the signature right now because it is a white signature with those white boxes, but hopefully you can see it is there. I'll blow it up a little bit, or a lot of it, and then you can see there's the signature on those gray and white boxes. So now we can save it. We'll go to File, Save As. We want to save it in our folder titled Signature. We'll call it Signature. You want to put in a .png, and then you want to make sure that the file format down here is PNG. You may default to Photoshop, but you want to make sure that you change that to the PNG. We'll go ahead and click Save. Large file size, fast at saving, that's fine. We'll click OK. And now that should be over in our folder titled Signature. There it is right there. We'll go back to Lightroom, and now we'll add this watermark. So we'll go down to Export. Of course, to do that, we just right-clicked on the image. We'll go to Export, and then the first option there, Export, and then dot, dot, dot. And then I have it exporting to a specific folder. That's the Signature folder. I changed the name, and then we're not going to worry about any of the other things for right now, but we'll go down to watermarking right down here. We'll click the double arrows, and here's a list of all of the watermarks I've created in the past, but I want to add a new one. So I'm going to go to Edit Watermarks, and then up here in the upper right-hand corner, you have the option of watermark style. You can do it either as text, so you can type in whatever text you want. You can do graphic, which is what we want. We can enter either the PNG or JPEG file. Of course, we have done a PNG, so we'll go ahead and we'll hit choose and find our PNG file, and there it is in our signature folder. We'll click that, and then we'll click choose, and there's our signature right there in the lower right-hand corner. Well, obviously now it's being cut off a bit, so I can go ahead and just shrink that size down a little bit, and I can change its location. So that's how it would export, and that looks rather large. So we'll shrink that down. Maybe over a little bit. And there's a touch bigger. There we go. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. There's a signature we created in Photoshop, and you can see by making it a PNG file, there is no background, so it's just the signature. I'll go ahead and I'll click Save. And this is just going to save our watermark. We'll call this Signature, and we'll click Create. And so now our watermark is the signature watermark, and we'll go ahead and we'll click Export. We'll wait for it to complete the process. We'll get a notification here in just a moment. There we go. And now we'll head over to that folder again, the signature folder, which is where we told it to export to. And there's our image right there. We'll go ahead and double click that. There's our image. We'll make it nice and big to take up the whole screen. And you can see there's our signature right down there. And of course, since it's a watermark, I can replicate this on every image I export from Lightroom. So there you go, guys. That's how you add a signature to your images when exporting from Lightroom.